Okay, so I just wanted to record something the day before the sailing beta is supposed to drop. There's a couple things that have come to my mind. I just thought I would share those things. And let me preface this by telling you how my mind has changed about sailing over time. So, when sailing was first announced, I remember having a conversation with a friend about it, and I was reluctant to be in favor of it because of bots. And I told my friend that it would be visceral to see a bunch of bots and boats traveling in the ocean on RuneScape. That just didn't really sit right with me. And I've kind of followed sailing somewhat closely, maybe from a near distance, but I don't really feel like I ever saw the botting problem addressed with sailing, and maybe I'm just missing that information or haven't looked in depth enough about it. But I got over that original sentiment and sort of changed my mind because I believe in the devs. I think they've done a great job, all things considered, over the years since I've been playing. And I was really optimistic for about a year and a half, and I tried the alpha and didn't really have many problems with it other than a few concerns with finding certain spaces like the docks and stuff like that, but that wasn't really too dissuading for me. But then what changed my mind again is the beta. So what they announced with the beta is that there is a level 30 cap, which was the same cap as the alpha, and that kind of raised an alarm in my head because I kind of think that there should be content out there in the beta that shows what we can do in the late game. I think it's important to have an end goal in mind before I start training a skill. Whether that be 99 or that I'm going to do some form of combat or I'm going to have like an immersion experience by training that skill. And being a max player, I fear that the only reason I'm going to want to train sailing on release is to get my capes back. Um, and that doesn't really sit super well with me because if part of me wants to prolong training sailing until there's a true end game present, and part of me wants to train on launch because I want the accessibility of my capes back, it just creates a conflict of interest where I feel like it would end in me not wanting to train it but doing so anyways. And to be honest, the fact that there's a level 30 cap could also mean that this late game content is like this big surprise, and it's something to find out when the skill actually comes into the game. And if that's the case, then I'm totally wrong. But there's also the case that sailing could just amount to years long development to get those late game aspects that a player like myself yearns for. And to train the skill almost inauthentically on launch just for the capes is going to take away from the experience of having to wait to go back and do it for the end goal that should have been there from the start, or at least a end goal that should have been there from the start. And I just don't know if I'm completely misguided in having this opinion, but I felt the need to get it off my mind and put it in a place where I can go back over time and reflect on where I was at on this day. But But hopefully when the sailing beta launches tomorrow, you know, we can figure some more things out. It's just, that's the main question in my mind right now is, well, the two main questions is how are bots going to deal with it, and is there going to be late game content on release? So yeah, if you guys have any thoughts on it, just let me know. If I'm completely out of my mind, please tell me. But other than that, yeah, thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next one.